Good morning and happy Thanksgiving. This is EBTV's production of East Brunswick High School Athletics. Today, the annual Battle of Route 18 on Thanksgiving Day. The Old Bridge Knights visiting here at J. Doyle Field against your East Brunswick Bears. Hi, I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen. And Rich, no matter how bad the season gets, this game is always kind of like sweet revenge, I guess, or sweet icing on the cake, depending on who wins, who loses.
Yeah, and you know, in this series, it has been all Old Bridge. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know I was part of the first one where we won, and I think maybe East Brunswick has won maybe one or two of the battles. So it's really been lopsided. But you know, this is a game East Brunswick's got to look at and say, you know what, Old Bridge, you know, record-wise, 4-5, not great, but you know, they played some teams tough. They have a couple wins that East Brunswick obviously doesn't have with just their first win in the consolation playoff game, but they got to feel that, you know, this is a game at least that they can compete in.
The Bears win that game 42-22. What could they take from that game? I mean, the season started out tough, you know, with all those losses, but that one win. Now, what can they build from that into this game?
Yeah, I think you have to have some confidence. First of all, you know, to get the win there has to give you some confidence, and you have to feel good about yourself. And you know, this is for the seniors, and we'll go through the names in a minute. We had a little celebration here before the game, but the seniors, this is for many of them their last game that they're going to play, so you know, they're going to play with a lot of intensity, and I expect a pretty good game today.
East Brunswick won the toss, but will defer, it looks like, to the second half as they will kick off. East Brunswick wearing the home green jerseys with white trim, Old Bridge in white with purple. And East Brunswick will kick off going right to left on your television screen. The annual Battle of Route 18 about to get underway. Taryn Reed about to tee it off for the Bears from the 40. And it's a squib kick. And it bounces through, and it's on the ground where who has it? Looks like Old Bridge recovered. Got one good bounce and just couldn't find that one seam. It is recovered by Old Bridge, and they'll take over 1st and 10 on their 47-yard line. The dangers of a squib kick not working.
Yeah, we saw a couple weekends ago when the Giants played the 49ers. If you watch that game, the 49ers were able to get one against the Giants. Not at the beginning of the game, but I like that. You know, give you some momentum if you're able to get that.
Vincent Gargano at quarterback before the Knights. Hands off inside and brought down right at the midfield stripe. Tackle there for the Bears by Jake Wojewicz.
Old Bridge, number 28, Chris.
And for our viewers out there, it's going to be a lot of running by Old Bridge here. They have 3 guys on their team that have over 400 yards rushing, led by Aaron Ford with 768 yards. So you can expect you know, a lot of running here, maybe a quick game.
Chris Middleton took that first carry as a fullback and gained 3, 2nd down and 7. That handoff up the middle, and that was Aaron Ford, and it looks like he comes across to the 40 of the Bears and picks up the Old Bridge 1st down.
On the carry, stop made by East Brunswick, number 40.
Looks like East Brunswick had him tackled behind that 1st down marker, but then got twisted around and went forward for another 3 yards.
1st down.
They're going to mark it at the 41. Still 1st down for Old Bridge.
If I was Old Bridge, I'd run behind that right tackle all day. Number 77's a big boy.
345? Is that a misprint?
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, again, Jake Wojewicz comes up with the tackle here, running off that right side. Middleton takes the ball for the Knights.
Number 18, Jake Wojewicz.
And Jake Wojewicz on the tackle. He actually leads East Brunswick coming into this game with 60 tackles. So he's had a nice year on both sides of the ball for East Brunswick.
Gain of maybe 3. Call it a 2nd down and 7 here. That's Ford up the middle. Breaks it through to the secondary and gets down inside the 25.
I think you can see a little bit maybe why Coach Borden went for that onside kick, see if he could get momentum. Right now, Old Bridge is rolling here.
1st down Knights, ball at the 25-yard line.
Gain of 13 yards, good for an Old Bridge Knights 1st down.
Again, that's Vincent Gargano, junior quarterback for the Knights. Hands off inside. This time met at the line is Ford. Good penetration there. The interior defense.
Yeah, that looked like number 58, Joe Talbot. Made a nice play there.
Stop made by number 68.
68, excuse me.
Damola Defen.
So that's minimal gain. They're going to mark it at the 24, bring up a 2nd down and 9. Bears with basically 8 men in the box, looks like, guarding against that run. Inside handoff. Now a keeper this time. And Gargano is tackled for a loss.
Old Bridge quarterback number 4, Vincent Gargano, stopped for a loss.
Saw a little option there, fake the dive, and East Brunswick, you know, with this offense against Old Bridge, you really have to stay in your lanes and, you know, not over pursue the ball. East Brunswick did a good job.
2 yards, 3rd down, 3rd and 12.
That's one of the first times East Brunswick's got some penetration on the D-line.
It's passing down here. Old Bridge splits out wide receivers, top and bottom of your screen. Backs behind. Gargano dumps it over the middle. Looks like he had his tight end or inside flanker, Will Dowdell.
Gargano to number 5, Will.
That wasn't a very complicated play. I mean, they expected, I guess they expected East Brunswick to blitz, and that was the opening right there across the middle.
That's good for a gain of
Yeah, and that's tough to cover, especially if you don't have someone jamming him on the line right away. You got a free release, and you know, quarterback didn't have to make a difficult throw there, but drive continues here for Old Bridge.
1st and 10, ball on the 12-yard line. They hand off to Middleton inside, stretches forward to about the 5. Referee's going to mark him. Well, the side judge comes in, marks him about the 6. So we'll call it a gain of 6, and they'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Old Bridge can get a 1st down before crossing the goal line.
Gain of 6 yards. Gain of 5 yards. 2nd down and 5 from the East Brunswick 7-yard line.
They're going to mark it at the 7. 2nd and 5. The pitch around the outside. And that's Ford. Stretches, maybe gets to the 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I do that too much for Old Bridge. I'd kind of just stay between the tackles there. Actually, nice block by Old Bridge, number 13, Dan Grillo, to kind of seal him, to even allow him to get a yard there.
.720 left to go. Old Bridge been driving since the opening kickoff here. Middleton's going to bull forward, and
it's close.
He crosses the plane of the goal, and they're going to give him the touchdown.
Number 28, Chris Middleton, with the 5-yard touchdown run.
Nothing fancy there either.
No, yeah, I guess really Old Bridge just at one point had that 3rd and about 10. They were able to convert to the tight end, but other than that, they really had their way that drive against East Brunswick. East Brunswick, you know, gave them a short field with that onside kick attempt, which they didn't get. So good start there by Old Bridge, almost taking up 8 minutes at 1st quarter already. Excuse me, 5 minutes.
And the kick is good. So Old Bridge jumps out on their first possession to a 7-0 lead here against the Bears.
Your score, Old Bridge 7.
Crowd filing in on hand, and a beautiful day after a couple of days of dreary, rainy weather, absolutely ugly weather. Finally get some sunshine, and it's a beautiful day. A light breeze blowing here at J. Doyle Field, but with this new field turf field, the field's in excellent shape.
Exactly. Years ago, we might be dealing with some
mud, yeah,
and bad
mud
conditions. The old field here.
Yeah, this time of year, by this time, I can remember a couple of even Powder Puff games that were played here. I'd like to give a shout out to the seniors who did win the Powder Puff game here last night, 13-6. That is one of the few classes that won the Powder Puff title as juniors and as seniors. I believe the last one to do that was the class of 06. All right, Old Bridge now to kick off. Dropping back deep for the Bears, Jason Parker. Looks like it's going to be a short kick, though. Coming up on it for the Bears is John Gerhardt's. Gerhardt's trying to slip to the middle here and gets pushed back right around the 30-yard line.
Number 5, John Gerhardt with the return.
And that's where the Bears will start, 1st and 10 on their first offensive possession. 7 minutes even left in this first quarter of play.
It will be 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Bears come out in the wishbone. Mike Sy, the quarterback. The inside handoff goes to Jason Parker. He'll break it across to the 35-yard line. Good gain of 5. 2nd down and 5.
And East Brunswick's dealt with some injuries this year. Earlier in the year, they were looking to throw the ball more. Now they're back in the traditional wishbone.
Well, one of the biggest injuries happened even before the season started with Donald Cheryl's concussion-related symptoms. Gerhardt tries to get through minimally, maybe a yard, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I think they gave him a generous spot there, actually.
Tackle made by number 50, Logan Malik. It will be 3rd down at about 4.
And that is a generous spot. And you'll get almost 2 yards on that. So 3rd and a long 3 or a short 4 here for the Bears on their first offensive possession.
And this is it's so early in the game, but this is a big down to see if East Brunswick can keep Old Bridge offense off the field here.
5 wide receivers in the pattern. A little pitch shovel pass out on the wing, and breaking it across to the 45 for the Bears is Chris Ramos.
That is good.
Not your traditional shovel pass. That usually shovel passes like that go inside, but that one was more on the outside.
You know what? And they actually had a guy also cutting up the middle, so I don't know if that was a read by Mike Sy, whether or not to give it to the outside guy or the inside guy, but he made a good read. And for East Brunswick, the number 27, Chris Ramos, he does have some speed for East Brunswick when he gets outside, so they should look to get him the ball a little bit.
The East Brunswick running backs are not big and powerful like Middleton is for that fullback there. Now Sy's going to take it on a keeper and gets tripped up just shy of midfield. So East Brunswick has to rely on good blocking and cutting to those holes and getting through them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, East Brunswick there kind of spread Old Bridge out a little bit. I think they had 3 or 4 wides with just the one running back, and Mike Sy made the read to keep it and got a good gain on 1st down.
2nd and 7 from the 49-yard line.
Just shy of midfield, Bears with a 2nd and 6. There's a double reverse, trying to break it outside is Ramos. Ramos does sidestep a couple of men and gets the 1st down. Determined running there.
Number 27, Chris Ramos.
Yeah, there was one guy there on the outside that had a shot. Looks like we might have. Other thing to keep in mind, you don't want to. You're having success running the ball, but Hayden Warren has had a nice year receiving for East Brunswick, with over 340 yards receiving. So this might be a down that you do. I know they've had success running the ball. You don't want to mess with that, but. And
Bears spread it out. Warren is split to the top of your screen. Sy drops back. One blocker in there. Now looking, nobody's open right now. And Mike Sy is going to try to find it, try to thread a needle there. 2 receivers in the pattern at that spot. Looked like he could have ran for it and gained at least a few yards rather than throwing it into a crowd.
Right. Yeah. If the guy has a little more separation, maybe you throw that. But I thought he, at least had 4 or 5 yards if he just tucked it away. But I don't mind that call by Coach Gordon there. 1st down and not expecting you to pass, although you are in that formation with four wides there.
Knights did get some pressure on Mike Sy, but were unable to get to the quarterback. Sy drops back, now getting pressure. Flanker screen coming inside now, and that maybe was not the best idea there for the Bears. Ryan Burdoff on a flanker screen. small gain here to the 40.
And those are tough. You need really good timing on that, and you need someone that's going to catch it and really go up the field right away.
Again, wide receivers spread all over the field. Warren in the slot here. And that pass is picked off over the middle. And for Old Bridge, picking that off is Jesse Maglulio.
You know what? And if you know, we were watching at home, that actually looked like Chris Ramos was open, but Mike Side just needed to get a little more air under the ball and lead him a little bit, because I think he did have a step on him, but the pass was a little bit underthrown.
At this time, we'd like to congratulate all champions in East Brunswick. Boys soccer, the division, GMC, and state sectional champions. Girls soccer, division champions.
Old Bridge taking over now on the 40-yard line. And slamming Vince Gargano, Jake Wojciewicz, and you could hear even, I think I could hear the coaches up there on top of the press box. They're saying somebody is open.
Yeah.
So there was somebody open, and if Wojciewicz didn't get there, that could have been disastrous for the Bears.
I don't think he was blocked on that play either. That's someone you have to account for. He leads the team with 5 sacks. And I'm sure East Brunswick is obviously, you know, having a lot of guys in the box here, but if I was Old Bridge, I'd run the ball.
Loss of pretty much 8 or 9 here.
And there's movement, two guys on the right side for Old Bridge there.
First penalty of the game, false start against the offense, and that will push it even back further. Knights have to get to the Bears 49. So this is going to be close to a 2nd and 20. 2nd and 21. Second
21.
20. Actually, my math is bad. They're on the 28-yard line, so it's second and 23.
Right.
2nd and 23.
Wide receivers split all through. Backs in an I formation now. Ford splits out, goes in motion, and again brought down, and we're going to have a penalty here, probably on a face mask. It looked like Gargano's head got twisted around.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wesley Lynch with the sack. Penalty mark on the play is a face mask.
And that's you know, it's unfortunate, but when you've got a quarterback that's trying to twist out and you're trying to wrap up.
Yeah, sometimes your hand just grabs whatever you can grab.
And it remains 3rd down.
But it's the 5-yard variety of the face mask. Unlike the NFL rules now, which are everything's a 15. This is only a 5-yard face mask penalty. So give credit for the sack. And
there was a host of Bears there.
And the sack, and then even with the penalty yardage, it's pushing the Knights back even further. Now it's a 2nd down and 26. And good pursuit there as Aaron Ford tried to break it outside.
Old Bridge number 3, Aaron Ford with the
gain of 1.
And I think Old Bridge is doing East Brunswick a favor first by trying to throw the ball on 1st down and going outside the tackles there. I think they really should just try to keep it inside a little more. Well, East Brunswick D is stepping up after the first possession where Old Bridge kind of went right down the field.
Well, this is the 3rd, and if I can borrow an Old Bridge reference, Cheesequake Park. Wide receivers up top, 2 wide receivers in motion. Goes Will Dowdell. Now he lines up as a tight end on the far side. Long count. Inside handoff, and this time the Bears do stuff it. Old Bridge resigning itself that it's going to end up punting here.
Number 28, Chris.
There's a flag.
Is it offside? Looked like maybe the side judge on the far side was. No, illegal formation.
There's an illegal formation penalty against the Knights. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
And the Knights will go back, punt formation, dropping back deep for the Bears to receive that. Chris Ramos is alone back in around his 30-yard line. This would be an appropriate time for a high snap, pummeled snap, block.
There you go.
Get some momentum going here as the Bears try to close out this 2011 season on a good note. Ooh, almost, but a nice lobbing high kick. Ramos with the fair catch at the 33-yard line, so the Bears will start there, 1st and 10, with only 6 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
And just want to quickly go through the seniors for East Brunswick on this day. Number 4, Mike Sy. Number 18, Jake Wojciech. Number 20, Donald Ursel. Number 26, Ryan Berdoff. Number 32, Yuri Steblik. Number 43, Darren Friedman. Number 48, Hayden Warren. Number 53, Jeremy Baum, and I'll get to the rest of them in a minute.
Bears in the wishbone formation. The handoff, trying to break it inside Gerhard. Gerhard's trying to get through, maybe a yard and a half.
Stop made by number 17.
And that's the end of the first quarter. The score, Old Bridge 7, East Brunswick 0. Old Bears will have the ball. 2nd and 8. And when we come back, you want to finish that list there now?
Sure, yeah.
The seniors.
We have, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing these names, Dudka Unchukwu, Manny Anith, number 56, Obina Unchukwu, number 65, Chris Kanya, Sean Garrett, number 78, Alex Malview, number 80, Sean Grant, number 82, and I guess we have either a couple of managers for each Brunswick here, Adriana Kanya and Amanda Quagliari. So congratulations to the seniors for all their hard work this year.
And this has been a good year overall, a good fall overall for East Brunswick sports. A lot of awards, a lot of divisions and championships, highlighted by the boys soccer winning the Central Jersey Group 4 title. All right, Mike Sy back here now as the Bears will be moving left to right on your television screen for this second quarter. Inside handoff. Ooh, stacked up at around the 40-yard line. It's going to bring up a difficult call here, 3rd and about 6.
And how about with that, talking about the boys soccer, how about that tie in the GMC final with Edison? I didn't even know they did the ties. I thought they would go until someone won. I was surprised when I read that. I didn't realize that they had ties.
You think they would go to penalty kicks?
Right, something.
Well, that happened, I think, with the field hockey team 2 seasons ago. Or
okay, I think you're right.
And then they were, I think it was with South Brunswick,
right.
co-champs. Sy being chased out of the pocket, now looking to run, firing downfield, and could not get enough on the throw. Had Warren at about the 45-yard line. And again, not being able to stand, plant, and throw. And unfortunately, Sy wasn't able to complete that pass. Again, he might have been better served by just running it.
Yeah.
Warren's a big guy. He can block downfield. So.
He did a good job getting around the end there, and like you said, either run or maybe set his feet just a little bit, because he did have a few yards on the defense that was running after him. And I looked at Coach Borden sort of after that, and he, I think, was saying what you were saying, just run it there.
Aaron Ford drops back to receive the punt here, Bears' first punt of the game. No wind to be really a factor here. Ford receives the ball, almost slips. Does slip out of one tackle. Hayden Warren was there trying to wrap him up around the 30, so he slips forward to the 34-yard line. So an exchange of punts here after the opening drive by Old Bridge resulted in a 5-yard touchdown run and a interception
Old Bridge takes over.
10:56 to go in the second quarter. I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen here. I'd like to wish all you a happy Thanksgiving. EBTV is doing a great job here bringing East Brunswick High School athletics to you. And I know that this weekend there's going to be a lot of EBTV games, East Brunswick games on EBTV, sort of a marathon. And yes, there is a movement on the line there.
Penalty marker on the play.
False start.
False start against the offense. A 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
If you saw Albridge's first drive here, this would be surprising right now. They're kind of the drive before this going backwards with the penalty and a couple sacks by East Brunswick. So the momentum's definitely changed a little bit.
On the keeper, Gargano trying to cut it around right tackle. Doesn't get even any of the, well, gets maybe 2 of the penalty yards back.
Vincent Gargano on the keeper. Stop made by number 45 for East Brunswick. That's Joe Chetta. A gain of 3 yards, second down, 2nd and 12.
Second down 12 here, passing situation. Jesse Maglulio split out up top. Middleton and Ford, the backs behind Gargano. Dropping back to pass, looking for that quick opener. Has his man, and Maglulio breaks across midfield. He was the only man in the pattern, and he just managed to find a seam. And Gargano had just enough time to complete it.
15 yards, good for an Old Bridge Knights.
Ball now on the East Brunswick 47-yard line.
Jesse Maglulio, how do you say that? How do you pronounce
Maglulio?
it? Maglulio had the big interception too when East Brunswick was driving, so he's having a nice game so far.
Middleton takes the handoff. No, it's a keeper, and going right up the middle is Gargano, and it's a race to the end zone here. And a 47-yard touchdown run by Vincent Gargano. And that was torn right up the gut. That wasn't any kind of trickery there.
And then pretty good ball skills there. It, looked like he had maybe given it to the fullback on the dive there, and he kept it, made a good read.
And what looked out to be promising now is a bit of a deep hole here for the Bears to dig themselves out, as the extra point is good. And that brings the score to 14-0.
Yeah, a little deflating. They seem, East Brunswick defensively, like they had a little momentum. But that, that's the thing with, teams that run and run the option. Just one little breakdown and it could be, 7 points. And the quarterback for Old Bridge showed some good speed there and going all the way.
Again, we looked at we're talking about the boys soccer winning division GMC and state sectional, girls soccer winning the division, girls tennis winning GMC, field hockey winning the GMCs, gymnastics winning the GMCs, a lot of individual awards there as well. And we'll be wrapping that up. We'll have our fall wrap-up of Sports Talk. We'll be taping it next week and go through all the details here of our wonderful sports season. I mean, the records overall are incredible. Boys soccer 21-1-2, girls volleyball 18-9. Some good records. Field hockey 13-5. And it's a good start to the year as the ball falls off the tee here. Wind is starting to pick up. I don't know if that's going to be a factor here, but the wind is blowing from the north. And it's a line drive kick. Picked up, tapped, and now it finally finds its way to Parker. Kind of an excuse me tap there by Connor McCarthy that ended up bouncing right to Jason Parker.
He definitely didn't want that ball there. But Jason Parker, I like how he's running the ball on offense. I like that return there, lowering his shoulder, getting a couple extra yards, and he'll be back next year for the Bears. He's only a junior. And how about the GMC Red Division this year? Some tough football, right? Some tough teams this year.
Inside handoff. I think Ramos was looking for a hole that closed very quickly there.
If you think about the teams this year in the Red Division, Piscataway's still playing. You got Sayreville still playing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, though. And then we ran into this, I guess, in '04. Piscataway being on the other side of the Raritan River, they play in that group, and we play in this group. So
yeah. Woodbridge lost last week in a tough game. Obviously, Sayreville and South Brunswick, one of them had to lose. So it's been quite a year for the Red Division.
And this time, Mike Side trying to get out of bounds. Had no one downfield. They had two men in the pattern. Had Gerhardt's and Ryan Burdoff, but they were on opposite sides of the field, and neither one of them saw Mike Side in trouble and tried to come back to the ball.
It is 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4 here. Again, this kind of in-between down where you might need some kind of motion, some kind of traps or deception here. I don't think a straight handoff is going to do it. Those interior runs, East Brunswick's only been averaging about 2 yards a carry. Rolling out, Mike Side looking to complete his first pass, throws it just ahead of Hayden Warren. He was there and he was in front of the sticks, but
yeah, just let him a tiny bit too much. He actually looked better at throwing across his body there than he's been when he's rolling to his right side.
For the Bears, Chris Jones, number 30, will punt it away. For the Knights, Aaron Ford had only about a 3-yard return on his first attempt.
They're setting up for the return here.
An end-over-end kick. It's going to go out of bounds.
Punt goes out of bounds.
And we'll see where the measurement is. About the 35, so the Knights will take over there, 1st and 10. It's about where they've ended up. That's where they've had their field position, with the exception of the onside kick. That's where they have been most of the time, 30 to 35. So they've got decent field position to start with. 8:26 to go, second quarter. Inside hand. No, this time the keeper again. Gargano gets it out to the 40. Looked like the interior line bid on the fake to Middleton.
Tackle made by number 18, Jake Wojewicz. Ball was run by number 4, Vincent Gargano.
Jake Wojewicz on the tackle. Second and about 5. Now Middleton's going to get it and gets right up at the marker. They're going to give it to him. Yeah. 5-yard pickup and an Old Bridge first down.
It just seems almost at will here. Old Bridge is able to get 4 or 5 yard chunks.
Well, where they were making mistakes is when they were trying to do fancy stuff.
Exactly.
You said they've got to. You said that they had to keep the ball on the ground and not get as fancy.
Yeah, that right side of the line is some big boys on that line, and East Brunswick does not have physically big team up the middle. So
Middleton carrying 4 or 5 Bears forward across midfield and into Bears territory. That was a gain of 7, I think 6 of which he was carrying extra load there.
Yeah, it's just tough for East Brunswick here, except for number 60, Damola there. They're overall, much smaller than Old Bridge's offensive line.
Second and 6 as they mark him down just inside the midfield stripe. That handoff again to Middleton, leans forward right at the sticks. Does not look like he's going to get the spot there. as the linesman comes in and will mark it right around the 46. So let's call it 3rd and 1.
And I know Middleton's trying to get those, extra yard putting that ball out like that, but he might one time trying to extend that ball in traffic like that. If East Brunswick, someone goes after the ball, he might fumble the ball. So I don't think it's really worth that, extra half a yard to be doing that every time, especially when people are right there.
That's Ford up the middle, and Ford's going to break it right through, and no one's going to catch him. 46 yards, and the touchdown for Old Bridge looked almost like a repeat of the last touchdown.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that was a track meet right there. No one was going to catch him.
Yeah.
He got through that first line, and with the Bears pretty much playing 8 men in the box. The extra point. Now, I don't understand this little trickery there with, everybody lines up on the left side. Now everybody comes back to where it's supposed to be. I mean, I can understand it if you're trying to go for 2 and you want to do a special formation like that, and that one is blocked. So point after fails there.
Point after attempt is no good.
And our score 20-0 in favor of the Old Bridge Knights. The annual battle of Route 18, Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you enjoy our coverage of East Brunswick High School athletics. We'll be looking forward to bringing you the winter season, basketball, wrestling.
And that was number 5, John Gerhardt's on the block, and he did a nice job, but that looked like that kick was a line drive. Looked like he was trying to make it from 40 yards, the way the trajectory on that. But I'd like to say that extra point might mean something in this game, but the way it's going now, it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. And East Brunswick's offense, really, it's their job here to see if they can put some type of drive together and put some points on the board.
Yeah, because it would be also good momentum. They're going to get the ball to open the second half. So a good touchdown drive here, potentially running out the clock or making it pretty much useless for Old Bridge to do anything with the remaining time, and then come back in a good drive to open the second half, and you're back in this game.
Yeah.
1 turnover, 1 mistake, and then boom. All right, that kickoff is going to be high and deep. Gerhardt's going to pick it up at about the 18-yard line, sidesteps one man, and then is wrapped up just over the 25, 27-yard line. Bears will start 1st and 10 there with 5:48 left to go.
The tough thing with East Brunswick offensively, too, is it's not like you can just say, all right, we're going to throw the ball, down the field or make a big play. They're more of a team that has to get, the yards in chunks for the most part. So, that's...
Well, unless it's a pass to Hayden Warren, you have no big threat. Apparently, Sai's been very inaccurate today. Doesn't have the gun for an arm.
Yeah.
Wishbone backfield behind Sai. Going to try to pull it back and keep it. And gets across to about the 34-yard line. That's probably been one of the more successful inside runs here for the Bears.
That's the thing when you have an offense like that. They do get about 6 yards there, but you have to consistently put those plays together or your drive stops. So that puts a lot of pressure on you. If you do have a negative play or something, it's tough for a team like this to overcome. So you really have to be precise in your blocking and assignments and penalties and things like that. So
all right, the spot was not as generous. Looks like a 2nd down and 5 here. Gerhardt's in motion, the inside handoff, and this looks like it's going to be a 1st down here as
East Brunswick, number 2, Jason
Parker takes the carry and gets it across the 40-yard line, and that isn't a Bears 1st down.
First down.
The pitch, Gerhardt's around the outside, well defended here as breaking through.
Number 5, John Gerhardt on the carry.
Breaking through that first wave there.
Old Bridge, number
72, Zach Page got penetration and got at least a hand on Gerhardt, slowed him down, and then others came up to finish the deal. Loss of 1.
They really pursued there. You know, East Brunswick might be looking at that up top and maybe run some type of reverse again, because they seem to really pursue, you know, everyone on that side.
Side rolling, going to fire it downfield for Hayden Warren, who manages to grab it on top. Foot race, and he's still on his feet, still going, gets down to the 5. That is great concentration on the part of Warren to go up over a defender who he had a height advantage on and pull it down, and then not only keep his balance, dance on down the sideline.
Exactly. That was impressive. And you almost want to say, if you're East Brunswick, you know, he had number 23 from Old Bridge on him, who he's probably got at least a half a foot on, where, you know what, your best offense might just be to lob it up to him every time.
And that time, Mike Sy got some air under the ball.
Exactly.
Which has been hurting him with the interception in the first quarter. Bears on the 7-yard line now. The handoff inside, not going anywhere.
East Brunswick, number 5, John Gerhardt.
Gerhardt does not get the ball, maybe to the 5-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and goal from the 5.
Stop made by Old Bridge, number 28, Chris Middleton. Gain of 2 yards, 2nd down and goal.
Again, full house, kind of wishbone backfield there. Mike Sy drops back, looking. Going to put it in the corner of the end zone for Warren. Ran out of real estate there.
East Brunswick pass by number 4. That's Mike
They had Warren there in tight end position. That's a little tougher too. The route took a little while. I'd almost just split him out, see what they do if they just have single coverage or they have a safety over the top to, you know.
Well, you're also working on the short side of the field. The ball's on the near hash mark,
exactly.
And that play took too much time to develop. And by the time it did, it wasn't really much of an opportunity. Now here, 4 wide receivers split out to the top,
and he's got single coverage here.
And what we have is, I think, a timeout. I think we have an Old Bridge timeout there. That was something I saw the Old Bridge coach running down the sideline, and so I figured he was going to try to call a timeout because that looked dangerous for Old Bridge. You're right, single coverage.
And I think he's going to tell them in the timeout here, you know, probably have a corner there, have a safety over the top as well. Think, you know, surprise there with the.
Well, I mean, if you're projecting that Warren is going to be the target, you're going to double cover him. You're going to bring the coverage.
Right.
You bring that safety over the top. But you only have a short field. You have basically the 10-yard end zone and a 5 yards. You don't have the depth to do that. The decisions have to be quick. So why not just double cover him to begin with?
Exactly.
Rush 3, maybe 4, and put everyone back in coverage like that. Make Mike Sy beat you with his feet.
Yeah. I don't mind here either. It's 3rd and 5. You figure this has to be 2-down territory for East Brunswick. They're not going to, you know, they don't need field goals, I think, in this game. So maybe even have that same formation with Mike Sy in the shotgun or something, and maybe a quarterback draw or a little draw up the middle might be something that you have Old Bridge spread out here. Especially if he's thinking it's 2-down coverage. I don't know how Old Bridge is confused here after the timeout, but they seem to be.
Okay. Again, 4 wide receivers up top, or 3 wide receivers up top, one block back into block, and a little pitch pass to Parker, and that goes to touchdown. Deception there. Hayden cleared out 2 defenders. Hayden Warren cleared out the 2 defenders, and they brought Parker back in the backfield, and just a little shovel pass, boom.
Yeah, very, very surprised there. Old Bridge had confusion after the timeout. They looked like they weren't sure what they were doing.
Now, officially, is that a passing touchdown or a rushing touchdown? If it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Right, if it's not a forward pass, I would think that would be a rushing touchdown there. Didn't seem like it was a forward pass, right?
You know, have to check the replay.
It was almost a lag, right.
And the kick is good. So our score with 2:52 remaining is East Brunswick now trailing 20-7, and a good stop here. This is what you cannot give this back.
Exactly, and you called it. You kind of said this scenario, if they could play out, East Brunswick get a score. I mean, there's still a little time left, obviously enough for Old Bridge here, but if you can get a stop, like you said, get the ball back to start the second half. You know, a couple other things here for East Brunswick Players of the Month. For this month, the cheerleader of the month was Christina Candalis. Kevin Ma was a boys cross country athlete of the month. Sarah Frost was girls cross country. Field hockey was Lauren Cram. Football was number 5, John Gerhartz. Gymnastics, Natalie Kowalik. Nigel Joseph was for boys soccer with that great year we were talking about. Christina Estremera was girls soccer. Hannah Malk for girls tennis, and Emma Hands for girls volleyball. So congratulations to them.
As the Bears tee it up, kick it off, a little pooch kick here. Oh, you got to watch. Ooh, that's exactly what you got to watch for, and that had so much spin on it that ball, if he doesn't catch that correctly, that's going to bounce right out. So again, Old Bridge with the ball about the 36 this time. But that's a free kick. I mean,
yeah,
that ball's up there. You can run the guy over. Unless he calls a fair catch on a free kick, which is unusual thinking there. But
We'll take over the ball at the 36-yard line.
2 minutes, 47 seconds left. Again, the Bears cannot give this up here. In fact, the Bears still have all their timeouts remaining, so a couple of stops here on first and second down, and you might can see Coach Borden use those timeouts to slow the clock down. The handoff to Ford. Aaron Ford gets out to about the 40.
Handoff to number 3, Aaron Ford. Tackle made by number 17, Matt Bennett.
They're going to mark it right at the 40-yard line. Second down and 6. Middleton and Ford in the backfield behind Gargano. Back to pass, looking over the middle, and once again,
Never got it though.
He put it on the turf.
Was that same route though, that slant, and he was there.
Third down.
There's with only one receiver really in the pattern. There's got to be a little more coverage. You know, the duties there. You know, one on top.
Right.
One to kind of jump the route in the middle to close off that avenue.
And that does stop the clock with 2:07 left here.
3rd and 6. Bears looking for a stop here and a chance to get possession again. Back to pass. Gargano looking now, throwing the screen pass out on the side, and wide open is Aaron Ford, who's going to go, makes the cut, gets through, and will go all the way 60 yards. What a flag. That's going to come back. There's a flag being thrown at the 10-yard line, and it will be for an illegal block. And the Old Bridge coach is livid.
That's inexcusable.
That was a shove in the back, down the sideline. The runner was already past that, and that's coming back, at least from that point.
Right, I think it's a spot foul.
The touchdown is negated. The ball will be placed.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Or perhaps not.
I thought it was a spot foul, but.
You know, yeah, it is. The players don't think so.
Okay, the players are.
Players don't think so, but that's the downfield foul, so it's ball's going to be put on the 21-yard line.
Hey, great juke there by Aaron Ford. I think Jake Wodowicz had a chance at him. He just made a little cut.
You know, that's a posterized one. You get, you know, if you're a basketball player getting dunked on, that's, you know, where you're going to end up on the picture here in the home news from the game. This was a great move by Ford. And again, the Bears letting that happen. That was a simple screen pass to the outside. Bears bit on the run fake and were not able to recover. Now the handoff straight up the middle to Ford, who is essentially going to take just another play and go down the field and score.
Touchdown run by number 3.
I think number 83 for Old Bridge feels good about that. He was the one with the block that was getting the earful from the coach, so it feels a little bit better that Ford scored there. Well, we kind of talked about what East Brunswick needed to do, and unfortunately for them, weren't able to get a stop.
Old Old Bridge to line up the extra point. And this one is good. High kick there. 27-7, our score with 1:44 left. So the Bears score with about 2:50 left. And the Old Bridge Knights take about a minute to march down the field, 64 yards. The big play being a 21-yard run. And the play before that, the long pass. So now we'll see how the Bears respond. Once again, Bears have all their timeouts left. And good field position, good kick here, good return.
And just if we look at some of the games Old Bridge did win this year that East Brunswick didn't, Old Bridge beat Howell the last game they played, 35-29, and East Brunswick lost to Howell 34-0. So that kind of, you don't always compare teams and what their score was because there's a lot of differences, but, a couple of the scores you see the difference.
Bouncing kick picked up by Parker, and that extra little bounce there gives Old Bridge a chance to come down and cover. Well, the disappointing thing with the Bears this year has been in the games that they were in it, they couldn't close it. And then there were other games where it didn't look like they were in it from the start.
Yeah, and if you look at the first 3 games this year for East Brunswick, those are winnable games. Monroe, which they lose by 9. Edison, they lose by 8. JP Stevens, they're, competitive in those games. And then you get to the schedule where you have Woodbridge, Howell, Sayreville, Piscataway, South Brunswick. I think
that's
most teams would have trouble with that, but those first 3 games of the year definitely.
Inside handoff to Parker, loss on the play of 2.
By number 2, Jason Parker, tackle made by number 50, Jamel.
I think if you're East Brunswick, I know you don't want to give Old Bridge another shot here, but to win the game, you have to put up some points here. So I'd be a little bit more of a hurry here.
No, I think this is your play. If you get some serious positive yardage here, if you're the Bears, then you try going downfield. If not, you try to just run the clock and go in at halftime here.
Yeah. As a coach, if I lose by 50 or 20, to have a shot at this game, I understand you don't want to give the ball back or whatever, but.
By number 30, Will Ermhauser.
And a timeout. Old Bridge is going to call a timeout.
A timeout has been called on the field.
With 3rd and 4, 48 seconds left. Again, hoping for a quick stop and perhaps a block punt, a good return.
Yeah, a lot of things can happen.
Because you've seen how big play-oriented this offense for Old Bridge can be, that even if they get the ball back with 20 seconds left, they can score.
Yeah,
boom.
Definitely.
But again, if you look down this schedule here, the Bears play close with Monroe and lose. The Knights close with Monroe and win.
Right.
So it's last night's powder puff contest. The seniors defeated the juniors by a score of 13-6. Thank you to all of those who attended.
I don't know, it's one of those years. I mean, 2 years ago, we were talking about state championships and a snowy game down at the College of New Jersey.
Exactly. And there was a few years before that, then 0-10 the East Brunswick team had. So goes in cycles for most teams, except for those, few teams that looked like it hit the ground.
No, it did. The side judge says incomplete.
Yeah, most teams go through those cycles where you have a good year and a bad year. A team like Piscataway usually, overall is pretty good no matter what in football. But one adjustment I think, East Brunswick will look at maybe in the second half is, throwing the ball to Hayden Warden a little bit more.
East Brunswick back to punt here. Ford standing around his 40-yard line. The rush comes, and smartly Chris Jones just kicks it away from him. And the ball will bounce out probably around the 40-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 38.
The Knights will take over.
And the Knights, with 1 timeout left, will take over on their own 38-yard line. Again, our scoring in the first quarter, Middleton for Old Bridge, 5-yard run. Second quarter is where all the scoring has been taking place. Gargano on a 47-yard run right up the middle. Ford with a 46-yard run. East Brunswick gets on the board. Parker, 5-yard pitch pass, lateral. And then Ford again with a 21-yard run after a long pass completion where there was a penalty. Gargano trying to scramble out, looking downfield. It's going to take it himself, get across midfield, get to the sideline. 18 seconds left and gets it into Bears territory here. Figure you get at least 1 or 2 shots downfield. And that ball will be spotted at the Bears' 45-yard line.
I think Old Bridge has at least 1 timeout left in high school football. When you get a first down and those chains move, the clock does stop. So a little bit easier with less time in the high school game.
Now passing formation here. But instead, a keeper. I wouldn't have kept it. I would just give it to the guy who's got the legs to run it downfield. And Old Bridge will burn their last timeout after Gargano gets maybe 3 on the play. 11 seconds left, so you figure two passing plays, 2 big plays, maybe downfield.
Timeout call.
Number 40 for East Brunswick there. Slow to get up, Michael Quinnen.
Fans, stick around at halftime for performance.
See the Haasmobile there, making a turn. He's
and the East Brunswick High School.
same on the bottom of the screen there. Phil Haasler, the longtime athletic trainer here at East Brunswick.
And one of the nationally renowned high school trainers on the issue of concussion. I mean, now the NFL has been talking concussion. Now, you know, they've been getting big with that. The NHL with Sidney Crosby concussions, but Phil Haasler's been on that for a decade or more.
Yeah, he's always on top of you know, all the new things that are going on in the athletic field. So.
Four wide receivers in the pattern here. Gargano will drop back, looking to send it downfield, being pursued out of the pocket, throws, caught, inbounds, close to the first down marker. So you'd have to kind of get set right away.
Get set right away, exactly.
Number 13, Dan Grillo. Tackle made by number 2, Jason Parker.
And as soon as the referee backs away and gets in, blows his whistle.
And this will be the last play, barring a penalty. Got to throw.
Well, he's going to try to run it down the sidelines, look for some blocking downfield. Finally knocked out at about the 12-yard line. So we'll go to half with the score, Old Bridge 27 and the Bears 7. We'll be back with second half action in just a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, the East Brunswick High School Marching Band.
Second half action almost ready to get underway here at J. Doyle Field, East Brunswick High School. Welcome to EBTV's coverage of East Brunswick High School athletics, the annual Thanksgiving Day Battle of Route 18. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen. And Richie, the big plays, that first half, the big plays killed the Bears.
Yeah, it was basically that. Old Bridge had a nice first drive to go up 7-0. East Brunswick had a drive. They weren't able to convert. And then it looked like East Brunswick's defense was doing a decent job. Old Bridge was trying to throw the ball a little bit. They had some penalties. East Brunswick did a decent job of holding them. And then, there was one big play up the middle by the quarterback for Old Bridge to put them up 14-0. Got another score. And then it looked like maybe East Brunswick was riding the ship a little bit. They got a touchdown with about 2 minutes left to cut the score to 20-7. And then Old Bridge was able to score again at the right at the end of the half to go up with the score we're at now, 27-7. So, one good thing, I guess, East Brunswick does get the ball here. So see if they can get a score to cut into that lead a little more.
Bears victimized by four plays of at least 30 yards or more. Now, one of those plays was actually a touchdown that was not called completely back, but partially back when a block in the back downfield. But then the very next play was a 21-yard run. So it basically split a 60-yard play into a 40-yard and a 21-yard run.
Exactly. So
Bears will take the ball operating right to left on your television screen as we start the second half. Happy Thanksgiving to all. The kick is a short one coming down in the direct. And was that a fair catch?
Yeah, offsides on Old Bridge.
Okay. I didn't know that they would blow the play dead on that one, but that ball did come down to Jake Wojcicki, who is one of the upbacks here. The move will put the ball back on the 35-yard line.
I didn't realize that either, that they would. I guess technically the clock should be at 12, but.
Mm-hmm. Now a little bit of a more chipper shot there. Parker picks it up at the 20 or 15, gets across, and a good tackle coming out there.
That was Mike Friedman for Old Bridge, number 20. Oh, that was 23, right?
Yeah.
Mike Friedman.
Friedman was victimized on that long pass play to Hayden Warren. That brought the Bears close to that touchdown that they scored with about 2:40 left in the first half. Bears operating now, again, right to left. Mike Zaya, quarterback. Check that. We have a change there. Number 5, Gerhardt is going to keep it, running around the outside, gets out to the 38-yard line. So a change in quarterback is John Gerhardt is going to take over. Whether that was a wildcat formation or something a little more permanent. I did see Gerhardt warming up his throwing arm on the sideline. I just thought maybe him and Hayden Warren were playing catch there. But Gerhardt is at quarterback here.
He shows some good athletic ability. The good thing with him, too, is he's only a sophomore, so he's got a couple more years left.
Parker in the backfield. Gerhardt tried to get to the 40-yard line and was yanked back like a yo-yo. Did get up to about the 40-yard line, so the Bears will end up with a 2nd and 8.
And during halftime, I went down and talked to a few people on the sideline, and the consensus was that since '95, East Brunswick's only won 2 of the Thanksgiving games against Old Bridge.
Mm-hmm. And I think the first one was the first year that this field was put in place. Gerhardt on the pitch to Parker. Parker trying to get outside. Again, good contained there. The Old Bridge defenders not biting, not moving, clogging up lanes. Parker picks up 3, so it'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Bears have to get to the 48-yard line.
And so far, the biggest play for East Brunswick has been that pass play to Hayden Warren. I wouldn't mind giving him another shot and throwing it up in the air to him.
Alex Malveaux splits late, but Gerhardt's going to try to keep it. and gets knocked backwards. Maybe got a couple of yards out of it. Looks like they're going to give him to the 46. Forward progress. So this will bring up a 4th down and 3. And again, not really a point here. It's the last game of the season. You're down 20 points.
Yeah, you really have to go here.
So the Bears going on a 4th down and a long 2, needing to get to the 48-yard line. Gerhardt and Parker in the backfield. Gerhardt's on the keeper, pitches it to Ramos. Ramos gets to the 50, breaks a tackle, clears through to the 40, to the 38.
Looked for a second, he might have trouble getting just enough for the first down, and ended up getting almost 20 yards or so there.
First down.
Gerhardt did a good job just to get rid of that ball.
On the tackle for Oldridge was number 83, that's Jesse Manuela.
Malvo and Burdoff split to the top of your screen. Gerhardt keeps it, runs up the middle. That's the kind of play that Oldbridge was running so effectively against the Bears. And Gerhardt will bring it to the 32-yard line. Nice gain there. Let's bring up a 2nd down and 4.
2nd down, 2nd and 3.
Gerhardt, long count. The pitch. Ramos around the outside, tries to get some room, and Aaron Ford, number 3, comes up and stuffs Scott Ramos, for a big loss.
He's having a nice game, both sides of the ball. Number 3, Aaron Ford there. And Oldbridge did a nice job defensively there, just stringing that play out where Ramos was just kind of going laterally there, never was able to cut the ball really up the field.
So 3rd down and 6 now. I guess they gave him some forward progress back to maybe the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 6. Shotgun formation. Gerhardt's trying to break through himself and is stuffed. Will Dowdell comes up and stuffs Gerhardt's, brings up now a 4th down and probably 7 or 8 here. No, they're actually going to just basically losing maybe a half a yard on the play.
Yeah, nice hit there by Will Dowdell there. Again, this might be the shot to give Hayden Warren a chance. Throw it up to him.
Over the middle, and Warren wasn't there, and Magalullo had a chance there for his 2nd interception of the game. And the Bears will turn it over on downs. I think that might have been just a case of telegraphing it.
Yeah. Oldbridge defensively too was in pretty decent position where the guys were. That was not a big window to throw it into.
Gargano up the middle. Here he goes again. This time taking Chris Jones with him.
Yeah, just kind of hanging on. Good thing he was, because he could have been gone there.
First down, Oldbridge ball on the Bear 47. Handoff. There goes Ford. Dancing, looking for a break on the outside, has the room, turns the corner, and will go 47 yards for a touchdown. And that is the 3rd touchdown for Aaron Ford. He has a 46, a 47, and a 21-yard touchdown run. Over 100 yards on just those 3 plays.
I'll tell you what, he might get close to 1,000 for the year this game. They, according to the stats here, it's 768 coming into the game.
Oh,
so.
let's hope not. 760.
Well,
that would be 230 plus yards.
Yeah. Well, if
I
he just put his, touchdowns together in that long run where he still got, even though not the, well, I guess that was a pass anyway in that 6-yard.
But nevertheless, a pretty impressive year. And the kick is up and good. Our score 34-7, Old Bridge.
And for Old Bridge next year, you have Aaron Ford coming back. You have your quarterback coming back. So just right there, looks good for Old Bridge next year.
These Brunswick Bears would like to thank Dr. Michael Spadafino and Spadafino Chiropractic Center for 22 years of support of East Brunswick High School athletics.
Again, this is the annual Battle of Route 18, Thanksgiving Day. Beautiful day here at J. Doyle Field. And we thank again EBTV for coming out and doing a great job in supporting East Brunswick High School athletics by broadcasting these games. This holiday break here, there will be many games rebroadcast as part of a kind of a mini marathon of East Brunswick High School athletics on EBTV. And this game will also be rebroadcast a couple of times as well. Parker, Gerhardt, and Ramos drop back deep for the Bears to receive the kick. A chip shot coming down. Gerhardt will take it. He's going to reverse it to Ramos, and oops, right into the waiting arms of 3 Old Bridge defenders.
Well, I guess if you're East Brunswick, you sort of have nothing to lose now. You're down 27, so if you can catch Old Bridge falling asleep, might see East Brunswick try a few things they normally wouldn't here.
Well, I mean, it's also the opportunity, as we see with Gerhardt now as quarterback, to give other players a chance here in front of the home crowd on Thanksgiving Day to have some time, some snaps.
Exactly.
Gerhardt's again at quarterback with Parker in the backfield. The pitch, Ramos tries to get to the outside, but Old Bridge doing much better job pursuing that in the second half than they did in the first.
Yeah, that's also tough when you run it to the short side of the field. You don't have that room when you get that pitch to really maneuver. The sideline is, an extra defender there, so once you get the ball, the space that you have to run there isn't as much. And like you said, Old Bridge is doing a much better job of stringing that play out and containing.
I don't see Mike Sy on the bench.
Yeah, I saw him actually walking. He was just right by the 50-yard line. He looks like he's not coming back in the game.
Yeah. Ball's on the ground, but looks like Ramos is there to recover. Loss of 3 on that fumble. Bears 3rd and 13 now, 4:55 to go, third quarter. Bears trail 34-7.
My team started 6-1, and I'm now 6-4. I'm going to be 6-5 this week.
Gerhardt's looking to get it to the outside. It throws into double coverage, and did Hayden Warren come down with it, or no one came down with it. And that'll bring up a 4th down. The punt unit will come on for the Bears.
Oh, interesting for some teams playing on Thanksgiving that still are in the playoffs. You know, that's a little bit of a tough call of how much time to give guys and how much you want to play guys, because there is a rivalry with some of these teams that are playing on Thanksgiving and have a playoff game.
Well, I remember in 2009, I guess, when the Bears won the championship. I don't think they won this game. I think they lost the Battle of Route 18 that year, again because they were trying to rest people.
And that was close there. I thought maybe number 15, Connor McCarthy, got clipped there on the
block.
Block, but
very good field position for Old Bridge as they'll take over 1st and 10 on the Bears' 26-yard line. 4 minutes and 7 seconds left to go.
I'll do the ball, okay, John, you watch tackle. Wait to the end.
Gargano, hands off inside.
It's the fullback.
That's Middleton. Chris Middleton.
and he's also back. I was saying the quarterback as well as quarterback. You also have Middleton back for Old Bridge, so that's good for them next year, looking into the future a little bit.
Long count. Handoff inside. Middleton again. Gets across the 20. Looks like he's dropped at about the 17, 18-yard line they're going to give him.
Number 68, Demola Adedudu on the ground.
And I guess if you're the Old Bridge coach, what do you do here now, too? I mean, do you get fancy? Do you try things? Do you, let the kids have some fun? I mean, this is a rivalry game. You know, you want to make statements. You're up 27. But instead, just a handoff straight up the middle. Here goes Ford, who's going to have his 4th touchdown of the game. This one at 18 yards.
Number 3, Aaron Ford on the carry, takes it in for an Old Bridge touchdown. 18-yard on the play.
And unofficially, probably about at least 170 yards on the ground.
And he came into the game leading Old Bridge with 72 points.
He can do it. What do you got? He has 9:30 right now. Overall, he's done though.
Oh, and that one is off the uprights. No good.
Point after is no good. Number 22, Edmund, stands off the post.
We just overheard some Old Bridge coaches talking about the fact that Ford has somewhere around 930 yards for the season, which means he's probably up there somewhere around 190 for the game, because we said he needed, what, 260 something?
He needed
230.
232.
Okay, so he's got 162 yards so far, which is about what I said unofficially here.
Yeah.
But the coach who came down also said that he's done for the game. So I guess at this point in time, there's no need to.
Isn't that funny how we have numbers, though, that we view as important, you know, the 1,000 points in basketball, 1,000 yards rushing, you know. I guess not now the way the NFL is, but 3,000 yards passing was, you know, a thing that was pretty good now if, you know, guys are throwing for 4,000 yards regularly. But
well, in high school, you don't have that. I mean, this is what, the 10th game.
yeah.
So 1,000 yards in 10 games means something here. And as Parker picks it up at the goal line, has to come all the way out, gets ahead of steam up, and brings it out. Nice return to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, I think they say in football, what is a 16-game schedule, a little over 60 yards a game, and you're getting 1,000. So, you know, a little bit easier.
There was passing stuff. I can remember a few years ago, one of the quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League, Anthony Calvillo of the Montreal Alouettes, passed for 6,000 yards. But it was an 18-game season, but that's still averaging more than 300 a game. He had 4 1,000-yard receivers on that team.
Wow.
Gerhardt's handoff, and the ball's on the ground. Fumble there.
Yeah, Oldbridge has it.
And that was
somehow
lack of concentration there. That handoff was good by Gerhardt, but Oldbridge will take over on the turnover. And they'll have the ball at the 23-yard line.
And we've got some substitutes in here for Oldbridge. Looks like
Aaron Ford, who was on defense, is going to come out.
New quarterback as well. Looks like number 9, Nick Lavecchia.
Yes. Yeah, because they're giving you the stat update. Yeah, exactly.
So we have to we'll be a little patient here on the caller. Friedman, I think the up back there was the fullback, but Lavecchia, keeper, gets to the 21. And an Oldbridge player is down, and there is an injury timeout. And then while we have this injury timeout, once again, happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you once again to the EBTV technical crew who rushed to get here to get this game on a beautiful day, though, on a Thanksgiving day, come out and put the technical work here together. This is indeed an interesting operation. It's more than just a one-man kind of show here, or a two-man in the booth kind of show here with this. And I remember we did a special feature for the East Brunswick Public Library Community Channel a couple of years ago, and how do you bring about a football broadcast. And we had the truck downstairs, and we're looking inside and going through the wiring and everything. It was very interesting to see that this is definitely more than just two people sitting up here yakking, talking about football.
We have the easy job.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. We appreciate that. And again, these games are available on demand. You go to the East Brunswick Public Library website, ebpl.org, and click on the EBTV3 logo, and then look for streaming video. Not just the sports events, but all the community programs that East Brunswick EBTV does are available streaming on demand. So anywhere in the world, if you're really hungry for East Brunswick, if you're homesick, you can click it on and access it there on the EBTV website.
And we saw on the field here, number 55 for Oldbridge, Jude Manford, getting up with some help. We also on the screen showed Phil Hassler coming out again, the longtime athletic trainer for East Brunswick.
Second down and 8. As that handoff to 23, Mike Friedman, gained only 2 yards. Friedman's in the backfield with number 25, Miles Williams, who is a freshman. Friedman gets to the 19-yard line. So you have a sophomore quarterback, a sophomore fullback, and a freshman tailback for Oldbridge here. This is the future you're looking at. Plus, with the youth that you mentioned, Rich, about the starting three there, Middleton, Gargano, and Ford, Oldbridge looks like they're going to be in pretty good shape for years to come. Lavecchia under center, backs behind the eye, and a little bit of a false start as the game is starting to, I don't want to say deteriorate, but the concentration level perhaps is not quite there, with 1:32 left to go in the third quarter, and Oldbridge up by a sizable score.
Yeah, plus you have some new guys in there that haven't been in the game yet, so they're sort of trying to get in the rhythm.
Wide receivers split to the top, backs in an I formation. That ball's on the ground, and it's pounced on. Bears have it.
And that was number 57, Devrim Durelli.
And he gets his name mentioned here. Defensive stop and a fumble recovery. A chance for now for Gerhardt's in the offense here to put together a nice drive, say something that, that they did something here. Mike Sy is taking his helmet off. He's not coming back in. He's got the helmet off. He's got the pads off. He's basically a civilian now, is on the sideline. bit of a trickery there, but Ramos ran into Ed Mish, and that play is going to lose a couple of yards, even though Ramos was thrown back several yards. It's only going to be a 2-yard loss.
Second and 12 for the Bears. 40 seconds left in the third quarter.
The pitch, and again, Old Bridge much better, much quicker to that than they were in the first half. And that's probably going to be the last play of this third quarter with the score, Old Bridge 40 and the Bears 7.
Well, I think East Brunswick knew coming into the game today that it was, going to be a tough task. And, early on after that, we talked about this before, after the first score by Old Bridge, it looked like maybe East Brunswick defensively had kind of righted the ship a little bit and got some momentum. But, it was, I think, just a matter of time with Old Bridge, with the big plays that they had. And, overall, East Brunswick's offense just hasn't been able to sustain anything. We have a look here on the huddle. Coach Borden talking to the offense, and I'm sure him and the staff are saying, there's a whole nother quarter left of football to keep the effort up and play as hard as they can. Oh, any predictions for the East Brunswick offensive defensive MVP? I think Old Bridge offensive MVP is
Aaron Ford.
Aaron Ford.
That's an easy one. I don't know. I mean, it's.
I guess Jake Wojciech defensively has had a pretty good game. Made some tackles. Had a sack or two.
That's what I was told.
Could maybe be this quarter. Could.
Yeah, Gerhardt could get something going here. Throwing downfield, and has his man. Gerhardt has it, and running down the sideline, and knocked out of bounds is Sean Grant. Gerhardt's got himself righted and throwing again, running with his body as opposed to throwing across the body. Managed to put it up there, and Grant pulled it down and ran down the sidelines, pushed out at the 25-yard line. So Bears now with the first down inside Old Bridge territory.
Yeah, you couldn't have thrown that ball better, right in stride. And Sean Grant is a senior. I know Sean a little bit from basketball camp when he went to. He's good kid. So glad to see him get a big play here on the last game for him.
Inside handoff going nowhere. Maybe a yard is Ramos. Second and 8. Gerhardt gets the play from Coach Borden. Parker and Ramos are in the backfield. Ramos gets the ball, gets inside, and will come across to about the 15-yard line, close to a first down. We'll wait and see where the marker is. Yes, they're going to give East Brunswick the first down at the 15.
And this backfield here, obviously people can improve, and it's not set in stone. But you have Gerhardt's here, quarterback. He'll be back. He's only a sophomore. You have Jason Parker, number 2, who's a junior. He'll be back, and Chris Ramos also will be back next year as he's a junior. So.
But the one thing we don't have is that punishing size.
Exactly.
You lose Warren. And you have who do you have as a wide receiver that's going to go up and get balls like that?
Exactly.
I mean, Sean Grant's also a senior. Alex Malveaux is a senior. So you have to figure who's going to be that go-to receiver to go up and get Plus, we don't have that punishing running back either. I mean, I don't remember the last time that you had one like that here, that kind of big, can't bring that person down back.
Yeah, I guess.
Always had the small scat
yeah,
backs.
I guess Julian Quinnen was a big guy that did that a little bit.
Soccer, right? You did not like soccer at all. I like soccer.
Everyone in the class hated that one.
Gerhardt's gets it down inside the 10 to about the 8.
Number 5, John Gerhardt. Actually,
Number 40, the Michigan Bowl. Third down.
Can you give us like a really big gradient that really yes.
everyone hated the soccer. We all like the idea of the
East Brunswick can still get a first down here to get to the 5. So 2 downs to get the first down at least. Warren a little bit confused there with where he's lining up. Gerhardt's grabbed around the neck and brought down. It'll bring up a 4th down, and this time a loss, so being up a 4th down and 5.
Number 80, Chris Weber, and number 43, Dennis Kilda with the tackles.
So East Brunswick needs to get at least 5 yards here to continue this drive, to keep it alive. One of those in-between plays.
Yeah.
Not quite a run, but not quite a pass, unless you can somehow isolate Warren somewhere. Now you got definitely have some double coverage now on Warren. Gerhardt's looking. He's going to put it up in the air, looking for Warren. But again, double coverage, one in front, one in back, and that ball thrown over his head, incomplete, and a turnover on downs. Old Bridge will take over on the 9-yard line.
Yeah, I know it's easy to say up here, but in that situation, I know he's covered decently, but at least give him a chance.
But that's the second time they tried that on that side of the field, on that hash mark, running out of room. Roll them out and head him down the other way, where
right.
at least he gets a chance to run and separate
have
from the
some
defenders.
room, exactly.
Because you had 2 defenders right on him. You had the safety coming over, and there was absolutely no room for it.
Right. Even if you throw an interception there, it's 4th down anyway. But didn't even get a chance to make a play there. So
that handoff is to the tailback. That's Miles Williams, the freshman. Jake Wojcicki on the tackle, gets out to the 13-yard line. LaVecchia, number 9, taking over for Gargano. The inside handoff to Friedman. Gets out to about the 15-yard line, so now 3rd down and 5. Chance for the Bears with the stop to get decent field position on a punt. Third down, long 4, call it 5 even. Handoff to 26, Marcus Lomini now in the backfield. He does not get the first down. The ball is marked about the 17-yard line, and that will bring up the punt team here, 4th down.
looks like Parker and Ramos are back deep. See if his project does any trickery here.
Ed Mish, who also double duties as the place kicker. High snap.
Oh.
And a bad punt picked up right there, dribbling down and picked up by the Bears. Darren Friedman right at the 15-yard line. So the Bears get the ball back essentially on where they were when they left off. Good defensive series there for the Bears. Let's see if that can spark the offense. Gerhardt's in the shotgun. Looks to keep it. Breaks inside the 10. Gets down just inside the 10. Pick up a 5. It'll be a 2nd down and 5. From the shotgun, Gerhardt keeps it straight quarterback kind of draw here, gets close to the 1st down. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short. Dropped at the 6. That's a 3rd down now and 1. Again, 2 down territory here. Malvo and Berdoff split out to the top of your screen. Backs in a tight formation inside. The inside handoff. No. Gerhardt's kept it and was dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, should have gave that one up, although, you know, the fullback wasn't going to get much more. He ended up losing a couple yards. They only needed about a half a yard for the first.
And now it's a 4th down and essentially 3 yards.
You go for it here?
Well, yeah, but no. You know, here's that, you know, maybe let's spread them out of here. This is what we need to, you know, work to the wide side of the field here. Roll. Gerhardt's going to roll, looking to get inside the 5. Got the 1st down at least.
Yep.
Brought down at the 3. And that worked the one time that they did score by having all of those wide receivers to the wide side of the field and opening up those lanes. Ball on the 4-yard line, 1st and goal for the Bears with 3:50 left to go in this 4th quarter.
So, Ken, what's your favorite Thanksgiving item to eat?
I like the cranberry sauce with the whole cranberry, you know, the cranberries in it, not the jellied one. And if it's got a little bit of walnuts in it, I'll take that too. You know, a little bit of walnut cranberry sauce. That's my favorite. Well, my wife makes a very good sweet potato casserole too. So Gerhardt kind of tiptoeing his way through, did not see any openings in his drop for a yard loss. What's yours?
Stuffing. I like the stuffing. I like the turkey sandwiches the next day too. Slob on some mayo on there, you know, toast some rye bread. Can't go wrong with that either.
Getting home just in time to smell those delicious Thanksgiving smells coming out of the kitchen.
Exactly.
Gerhardt takes it in from 5 yards, finds a hole off right guard there, and breaks through for a touchdown.
You can hear the fans. They're giving him a nice round of applause. Haven't had a ton to cheer about today, but you know, a good amount of the crowd has stayed for the whole game here.
John Boyko will come in to attempt the extra point. Is good. So with 2:45 left to go, our score is East Brunswick 14, Old Bridge 40. And Chris Kanye is going out on the kick team. Number 65.
He's giving it a little boot here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing an onside kick here, are they?
Lining up to kick off for East Brunswick is number 65, that's Chris Kanya.
Looks like an onside kick. They got
I don't
8 guys, and Old Bridge calls a timeout.
Timeout called by Old Bridge.
I don't really get why they're doing an onside kick here. I think the Old Bridge coach too is looking at Coach Borden.
Well, I mean,
That's Marcus, I think.
yeah.
Or maybe they're
yeah,
staying with Chris.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is usually, I mean, we've seen these where they hand it off to him at the beginning of the game to give Chris, who's a wonderful story, you know, his work with the football team and of course Coach Borden's work with Lakeview School and, you know, special needs kids. I mean, this has been a wonderful story to watch over the years. But here we give Chris a chance to do something a little different, perhaps.
Right, yeah, because I'm used to him getting the handoff or going up.
Lining up once again to kick off for East Brunswick, number 65, Chris Kanya.
Again, the ball has to go 10 yards to be considered in play or a free kick so that the Bears could recover it. Oh, no. Oh, did not.
No.
Nope.
Only won 2 yards.
It went out of bounds.
Penalty marker on play.
And Chris will come off. I guess this is, you know.
Yeah, actually, you know, Chris Kanya actually leads East Brunswick in scoring this year.
Yep.
Hello? Hello? What do you got?
And Old Bridge elects to take the ball where it went out of bounds, so they'll get it on the East Brunswick 43-yard line with 2:45 left to go. And again, another change in quarterback here. Jordan Fetterman, a freshman, also now in at quarterback. And handoff inside to Friedman goes nowhere. No gain.
I know sort of with the injuries in the depleted roster a little bit, East Brunswick usually doesn't bring freshmen up. They have a few freshmen that are on the roster, which is unusual for them.
Oh, that's a nice chance, again, to get as many kids in there. This game does not have the kind of significance that a playoff game or a division game that's during the regular part of the season has. Looks like Marcus Lomini on the carry. Lomini picks up 7 yards. Be a 3rd down and 3. Handoff inside, breaking tackles, cutting through is Miles Williams. Williams brings it down to the 15-yard line, and that's an Old Bridge 1st down.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear one more time for the East Brunswick High School cheerleading squad.
Let me know when you can, okay? That's fine, that's fine. I'll be down here. Just give me a holler or a tap.
That's Miles Williams again on the carry, drop for a loss.
Forward by number 25, Miles Williams, tackled by number 18, Jake Williams. 2nd down.
And a little bit of a conference here as Coach Borden called a timeout, and he's meeting with his counterpart to discuss, I don't know what something, you know, what they were discussing what to do.
Yeah, maybe Chris Kania, maybe to have him call a couple timeouts, give him the ball back to have a run, because that's what I was used to seeing, right, with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was surprised with the onside kick instead of before. So
and now
maybe
Coach
he's-
Borden going out to talk to the referee about what is going on here with this. So we have a bit of a delay here on the field here in the last minute and 5 of this contest. Chris is also a senior, so this would be his last game here. So if there's any kind of thing that can be done here.
At least that's what I think. Yeah, no, I know. And if that's what they're gonna do, yeah, that's why I ended.
So that's why, again, Chris, this little special, tribute here with Chris and his dedication to the team. Give it a chance to show on Thanksgiving.
Ball is hit by number 2, Jordan Fetterman.
And Fetterman takes a knee, bring up a 3rd down and 14 now.
Well, East Brunswick is going to end the year 1-9. Old Bridge with the win will go to 5-5, so 500 record.
Ball hit once again by number 2, Jordan Fetterman.
And we're just waiting to see how they're going to do this now.
Is 4th down.
And again, they're not going to take the timeout here. They're just going to take the knee.
Right, change of possession will stop the clock.
And again, this is a nice bit of sportsmanship. The Old Bridge didn't really need to score anymore, and it gives an opportunity here for one last kind of tribute for Chris's dedication and his work.
Yeah, Old Bridge actually, about 2 or 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Most of their starters were out by that time as well. So
now, a couple weeks ago in college football, LSU coach had his team take Les Miles had his team take a knee with 5 minutes left to go inside Mississippi's 10-yard line. And the sports commentators on the New York sports media and some of the ESPN guys were very critical of that.
Right.
And I can remember even a game many, many years ago with Penn State rolling over Cincinnati. The 3rd string quarterback on a simple kind of keeper busted play scored, and it was like 75-3 or something.
Right.
And here comes Chris going around the outside. Chris Kanye is going to go. Kanye is going to score 78 yards.
And that's going to end the game. All right, gave a little dance too.
Yeah, the Old Bridge players coming over, give it a high five too. That's so kind of the unofficial end to the game, or the official end to the game as well. The final score on the scoreboard is 40-14. I don't know if they do truly count that or not, if it's just a nice way to end it. But again, this is the annual battle of Route 18. Old Bridge wins for the umpteenth time. I guess the Bears not very successful on Thanksgiving Day. Teams meet at midfield, and they will present the trophies for offensive and defensive MVPs for both teams, as well as the Route 18 Battle of Route 18 trophy. Again, a rather disappointing season for the Bears, but again, everything starts anew next year, and hope springs eternal. Again, big plays here. Aaron Ford, 4 touchdowns, 3 of which came on very long runs. The Old Bridge defense came up big when it needed to, and they come away with this Thanksgiving Day game. I'd like again thank the EBTV technical crew for all their help getting these games broadcast to you. And again, a wonderful kind of feeling here on Thanksgiving. This kind of football weather, beautiful day here at J. Doyle Field, and the awards being kind of So for Richie Whalen, I'm Ken Saroka. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks again to EBTV for coming out and sharing this with you. We'll see you again in the winter season for basketball and wrestling. Have a good day.